Let's talk about this leader that we've elected in the United States.
Right.
Speak to the audience. Tell them the mindset that you put into the presentation of Pig's Three Different Ones.
We were running up to that election, and I did feel very strongly about it. And much as I disparage Hillary Clinton, and I do, I make no bones about it. And however big the questions are that I might have had, you know, with Obama and the past administration, Donald Trump, I've watched this guy operating for the last 20 years.
Do you run the risk of helping him by going over the top?
No, I don't think help or hindering. We need to survive his presidency.
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta, don't forget to boil your water. It's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm a blood-red dragon on a field of green.
So, let's talk about some stuff.
Well, all right.
All kinds of stuff.
It's a veritable cornucopia of yay and heh and meh and what?
Indeed.
It's basically an onomatopoeia fest.
Yeah, exactly. When was it? Sunday night, got to see Roger Waters in concert.
Oh, yeah.
And this is you've seen him probably a bunch of times, right?
I've seen him only one more time than you. You didn't go to the Wall show,
right?
But we were at
we saw the
Dark Side show, and we saw Us and Them, and then I was at the Wall show.
Yeah, this was the Us and Them tour, basically touring. What's the name of the album?
Is This the Life We Really Want?
Is This the Life We Really Want?
An okay record.
An okay record, which kind of sounds like the middle of the wall, like every song to me.
Maybe lyrically and tonally, but the musicianship has more in kin to Animals and Bits of Wish You Were Here.
It sounds like a mix of all those records.
I mean, there's no doubt that, you know, this is the guy that wrote that material.
Oh, yeah,
and now he's,
for sure.
You know, so, you know, it's not a great record, but it's competent. It's one of those ones that I like it enough to come back to it and try to delve into it more.
Yeah, I think it'll get better with age and get better on listening.
Yeah,
but
I thoroughly enjoyed the songs he did live.
I think they worked better live.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really did. There was more energy to it because most of the vocals on the record are like this. Even when he's singing, it's very...
I'm singing like this.
Yeah, and he actually, there was some oomph to it on the live show.
He discovered that the rain in Spain falls mainly on the... And you got to project.
Yes. So. And as always, a really spectacular show with the video and the lights, and he's a big video guy.
Well, Pink Floyd was a very big video band. I would say, if not the first, they were the first to really popularize.
Well, in the sense of a backing screen of videos,
an audio-visual component to what is being presented. Mm-hmm. The only other band that has taken that into a whole nother level, because let's face it, there's nothing else to watch. When I went and saw Kraftwerk last year, probably one of the top 3 best shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, you've said.
And it's just guys up there behind the podium, and you don't see what they're doing. There's no musical instruments. It's all laptops.
Right.
But behind them is some projection that is phenomenal, and it works, and it's gorgeous. Roger, on the other hand, he's got projections. He has projections that grow out of the middle of the audience.
Yeah.
And projections that, let's just say that a combination White House, Buckingham Palace, Battersea Power Station materialized right over the audience.
Right over all the audience, in the middle of it.
Like, you think, oh, this is kind of a subdued stage set. Nope. It's, screens that move all over the place, smokestacks, the Battersea smokestacks that actually put out, not smoke. Projection smoke, actual smoke. So it was, and of course we got the prism
We did, yeah.
We got the Prism. It didn't float around the room like it did for the Dark Side tour,
Right.
But it did okay.
It was pretty cool.
And I'll tell you one thing I noticed in looking at the set list on Setlist FM. Both him and Gilmour close almost every single show in recent memory with "Comfortably Numb."
It's amazing that there's still that little bit of rivalry there.
Well, I don't know if it's right. It's a good closer.
Yeah.
It's a good closer.
Do they have co-credit on it, or?
Yeah, exactly. They wrote it together.
So
"Comfortably Numb" and "Run Like Hell," and I think maybe one other song are Waters Gilmour. The rest of the Wall album is straight Waters. Well, I mean, he demoed.
Oh, yeah.
He demoed the entire album, and Gilmour came in and did little tweaks on a couple of songs.
No, that makes sense.
Let's face it, after, I think, Wish You Were Here, Waters kind of said, hey, I write the stuff now. You can come in on a few things, you know.
Yeah.
Remember after Animals, you said, I got these 2 projects. I've got The Wall, and I've got the pros and cons of hitchhiking. We're doing one of them, so you choose which one. And smartly, they chose The Wall.
Yep.
So Pros and Cons became his first solo record. That would not have been a good Pink Floyd record. So I think
No.
I mean, it's a good Waters solo record. I really enjoy it, but it just doesn't feel Pink Floydy. The
Not
Wall.
at all. Well, The Wall is like the seminal Pink Floyd album, pretty much.
I don't know.
I mean, that's debatable.
I'm just falling more and more in love with Animals.
Me too.
I mean,
it's always been my favorite.
It'll
one.
never eclipse. Wink, wink.
Bono.
Dark Side, but it's damn close.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah, I just don't think it'll ever reach. I mean, Dark Side of the Moon and Animals and Wish You Were Here will just never crest that pinnacle that The Wall did. You know, I think.
Well, as far as sales go and popularity.
Yeah, it's sort of, cultural impact.
And of course, I have a soft spot because my first introduction to Pink Floyd was being over at Andy Fakuri's house.
Hey, Andy Fakuri.
With his mother calling the cat Gaddafi. You the Gaddafi. She was, I think she was an immigrant from, I want to say, Iraq.
Okay.
Family came over and I said, hey, I got a VHS tape of The Wall. The Wall? What? And I watched that. That is like a benchmark in my life. After that, I was like, I am now obsessed with Pink Floyd. I must own everything.
I was afraid to watch the movie when I was a kid.
Ooh.
Because I had heard things about it, and I was kind of a scared kid anyway, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm the guy that would sneak out with my best friend at like 2 a.m. when he was crashing over at my place, go down to the video store and rent some of the most god awful B horror films ever. Reanimator and Basket Case and these horrible things that are just like
It's Alive.
I mean, the horrible thing it comes on screen and instead of going you're like. Wow.
Yeah.
That is some really awful special effects.
When I got older, I appreciated we would find the worst possible horror movies that had a terrible puppet at the end, killing things. And that was kind of, if it had an awful puppet killing people, that was a thing for us.
Yeah. For me, Basket Case is about the pinnacle of the worst.
Yeah, and that's really bad.
That's a bad one.
So. And just to... if you weren't aware when you got to the Roger Waters show, you quickly learned that Roger Waters is not very fond of our current president.
A girl or a boy has no president.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people booed after Pig's 3 different ones,
yes.
Which was essentially the Trump is a fascist pig
charade.
Insulting. What a charade! Ha
ha! You are,
yes.
And over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it insulted Trump viciously.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way that he has never gone after. I mean, he was not fond of Bush either.
No.
And he put his face on the pig and a few slogans, but that's about it. He didn't devote an entire... He basically retooled Pigs, 3 different ones, to Trump.
Yeah.
And at the end, I'd say probably, I don't know, 85% cheers, 15% booze.
Ish. Yeah.
I mean, you could. I had to actually ask you, am I hearing booze? I think I'm hearing booze.
I was very curious how that was going to go down because I had seen that video. Because I guess he did that on recently.
They released a rehearsal and parts of one of the shows I think he did in Mexico.
Yeah.
So I already knew what.
Well,
to,
I had seen the video of
what
it,
to expect, right?
And I was like, I wonder how that's going to play here in the old South.
I tell you, the only question about how it plays is only in America, because everywhere else in the world, it was 100%
Oh,
cheer.
yeah, of course.
Nobody outside the U.S. gives 2.5 fucks about Trump.
Right.
My fun part was afterwards queuing up for the in the line for the bathroom and hearing people go on about, like, I wish you'd just stick to the music.
Yeah,
and,
I didn't like that.
I'm
I didn't like that.
And I would jump in, it's like, gosh, it really sucks when an artist has a vision of their own art that's not your vision. I thought the animals material, especially pigs, was the best part of the show. And that was just kind of like, he's rather large. We're not going to engage on that.
Yeah, I luckily, no issues I saw of anybody.
No.
Nobody walked out. I was expecting that. I
did see some stuff online, like, he has no right to criticize the American president. He's not even American. I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, I hate what's going on there in Germany, but, I'm not a German, so I can't talk about Hitler because I'm not German, so therefore I am not allowed to have an opinion.
Right.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Great show.
Great show.
He completely ignored every single one of his solo albums except the new one.
Yeah.
Which, okay, he knows which side of the bread the butter is for him.
Yeah, people want to hear.
I know. I would have loved to have heard at least one song from Radio Chaos or Pros and Cons. And
I'm surprised he doesn't do that, because even when we saw on the Dark Side tour, there wasn't much, if any.
He didn't do anything from the solo records, but he did tap into Final Cut.
Yes, I remember that.
Because you're never going to hear Gilmour do a cut from. He hated that record, and I don't think he has any writing credits. Maybe on Not Now John. And he only played on. I mean, it's basically a Water solo record to begin with. So I think they did Fletcher Memorial on the Dark Side tour.
So,
maybe one other, Gunner's Dream, perhaps. It's one of my favorite. I love that record. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every Pink Floyd record from Metal through the Final Cut, I'm down with.
Yeah,
I'm down with. Not a huge fan of the Gilmour stuff. I hate the Division Bell. There's not a single song there I think is worthy of anything. But Delicate Sound has a couple, Not Learning to Fly. I'm sick of it.
Well, because that's the only one that
played on the radio.
Yeah,
but Dogs of War, One Slip is a great song.
Yeah.
On the Turning Away is a great song.
Yeah.
So it's a good David Gilmour solo song.
Yes.
Just like, the Pink Floyd record, Final Cut, that's a good Roger Waters solo record.
And that makes sense.
Anyway, hey, what else is going on, Daniel?
There was some sad news today as of this recording. Chester Pennington from Lincoln Park was found.
Or Bennington. Is it Bennington?
Is it Bennington or Pennington?
I think it's Bennington.
Okay.
Pretty sure it's Junior, I believe.
Junior was found dead, evidently committed suicide.
Yeah, he's the lead singer of Lincoln Park and briefly for a couple of years and one EP's worth of work with Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah, and I happened to... I still listen to Kevin and Bean out of L.A., K-Rock, and the debut of that was literally at their Weenie Roast concert, where literally it was like band, rotating stage, band, rotating stage, band, rotating stage. And
that's where they debuted that lineup?
Yeah, but like no one knew what was going on. Like the band turned around and they started playing Stone Temple Pilots songs, and everyone was like, what's going on? And then...
They look careful.
Then Chester started singing, and they were like, "What the fuck is going on?" So it was kind of a cool way to debut that. I don't know much about Linkin Park. I've listened to, I know some of their songs, and
I know that the band, or at least Chester, did something with Jay-Z. like
Yeah.
a guest thing, kind of like Adam Levine from Maroon 5 does rap stuff, sing
Yeah.
choruses and stuff like that. And I did hear some of the Stone Temple material. Yeah, solid, nothing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Talk Show, which was basically
Those guys, yeah.
what the guys did when they formed another band with everyone the same except the singer.
Yeah.
But they didn't call it Stone Temple Pilots.
Was it the DeLeo brothers, I think?
DeLeo brothers and one other
And the other guy, yeah.
and then a new singer. They called it Talk Show, and nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
But apparently, in the little bit I read about it, he had a history of massive drug abuse, and was molested as a kid.
Ugh.
So he's been battling demons for a long time.
And supposedly he was either his hero or I think close friend was Chris Cornell, who also took his own life. And that they said that was kind of a tough thing. Evidently he left a note. I didn't read the story.
Yeah. And you know what? I have no morbid curiosity about this,
It's sad.
It's sad.
It's sad when
he's gone.
He was like 43?
41.
41, and he had like 6 kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I always had the opinion that once you have a kid, there are certain things you no longer have the right to do. One of them is kill yourself.
That I think is the most.
That's pretty much
top of
tops
the
on
list,
there.
yeah.
Now, of course, not having a child, and of course, not having
Suicidal
been molested
depression,
or
yeah.
having drug problems, I can't, put myself in that situation. And go, how dare you do that, Chester? Hey, I didn't walk his shoes.
We don't know his
But
life.
in my opinion, doing stupid, stunts and trying to be a wannabe.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? What the hell are they called?
Jackass.
Wannabe jackass, dumbass shit. When you have a kid, you got to bear. You're done with that.
yeah.
You don't get to kill yourself. You don't get to be an alcoholic. Some people are. You try to work on it, but you kind of give up the right to do certain things because you have to shepherd a little human along.
Yeah, it's just very sad.
And unfortunately, once they become 18, it's not like, well, I'm done now. Time to become an alcoholic. No, they're still going to need you until, let's see, you die of natural causes at 90.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Sadly. Also, another weird thing happened. Well, not weird, but unexpected. The juice is loose.
Oh, well, I don't know if it was. I mean, we've known this date was coming for a while.
But I guess his record. O.J. Simpson was paroled today for.
Well, he was granted parole.
Okay.
He's not going to get out until sometime in October.
Okay.
That's the word.
And he's been in what they said 9 years.
9 years of a 33-year sentence.
Right, and they said he's been a model.
Yeah, he
prisoner.
hasn't caused any shenanigans, and actually, I listened to a little bit of his, not really allocution, but one of the members of the parole board said, "Tell us what happened, that caused you to be going into," and it sounds kind of like he got a bit railroaded on this one, Mm-hmm. Apparently, some friends of his helped him move, and in the process stole a bunch of his stuff.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to OJ, he thought it was in a storage unit or something. I don't know what the deal was, and he's living his life doing, say what you want about what he did previously, but
Yes.
he was out there looking for the real killer.
Yeah,
he
was.
And this guy kept contacting him and said, "Hey, someone's trying to sell,
your
stuff." And he goes, "Nah." So, all right. And finally he goes, "All right, fine. Take some pictures. Prove it." And his photo albums, some of his awards,
wow, yeah.
and he goes, "Holy crap." And then he went through the right channels, contacted lawyers and did all this stuff. And the guy said, "Hey, this stuff is going to be in Los Angeles Las Vegas, excuse me. Let's go get it." And he wanted to go get it, and the guy said, bring security. And apparently one of the guys brought a gun along, and that's all the problems came because the gun was there, and that OJ did not know that the gun was going to be there, or he didn't brandish it, and it sounds like he kind of got railroaded a little bit. But 9 years being railroaded. And let's face it, you killed those people.
Yeah, you got away with it.
So I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
getting falsely exonerated and falsely, they kind of balance each other out.
Kinda,
2 murders
yeah.
in 9 years, but so yeah, Juice will be out there renewing his hunt for the real killers. And I can only imagine what the Goldman family's going through. Is Fred even still alive? I hope so.
No, I think so.
That guy.
I don't believe I've ever remembered.
That
hearing
guy's
about
been
him.
vicious to OJ. Thank God.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's like, I just want to put it back. He's like, no, I'm going to make your ass suffer.
Yeah.
Problem is that OJ's pension and his retirement stuff from Screen Actors Guild and the protected, Goldman can't get that. And if he moves to Florida when he gets released, the state of Florida is a great place. You could have judgments out the ass, and they can't touch your house or anything because of the way the law is in Florida.
Interesting.
So if I move to Florida at any point, you'll know I've done something horrible.
Well, yeah, you've moved to Florida.
Oh,
Ooh, see, that's
Yeah.
that's the balance. Like, yeah, the laws are in your favor, but you got to live in
you
Florida.
gotta live in Florida. So, anyway. Hey, what else is brand spanking new that's really awesome?
Well, before we get to awesome stuff, there is also some other like questionable stuff going on.
Oh, what? You mean 10,000 undisclosed Russian things that Trump and every person in his entire cabinet met with Russians, but it's a hoax. It's a nothing burger.
Right.
It's a witch hunt.
Right. And he wouldn't have hired Sessions if he knew he was.
That's the thing. If I knew Sessions was going to recuse himself from the Russian thing, I wouldn't have hired him. Like, so you just wanted your puppet on this to usher this thing out as quick.
And you're too stupid to not say it out loud.
Dude. It's like Homer Simpson's like, don't say you would have hired. I wouldn't have hired him. Like, don't.
Exactly.
Okay. What's your?
But
weird
that's not
thing?
what I was talking about.
Okay, all right. I'm regathering myself. I'm not going to go into Trump rant zone.
Yeah.
I have 3.5 more years to let it bleed, or maybe not.
Hopefully not.
Maybe it won't even last the year.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway,
see.
what do you got?
The drama regarding, and no one else can see this.
Oh,
I'm pointing to a Kermit the Frog. What is that? A stuffed Kermit the Frog that Michael has.
Yeah.
Because there's been some really
apparently
drama.
The way it looks like is that Steve's kind of a dick, but
was he?
But
Evidently, it's Steve Whitmire who took over for the voice of Kermit the Frog.
Who
and
we
performing.
We got to hang out like about maybe twice as far away from him as I am from you right now. We were like first, second row or whatever. It was like, I could have reached up and smacked him.
He's been performing Kermit since 1990, 91, I think.
Basically after Henson. He's been with the company since 78, and he's the one that took over for Kermit and a few other of the main characters.
So he's been with them since he was a teenager.
Right.
He took over for Kermit and has been doing it however long that is at this point, and has been fired by Disney. He's done. Matt Vogel, another Muppeteer, has taken over.
Yep. Now, the thing that makes me believe more on the Disney side, 2 members of the Henson family said,
really?
Yeah. The son and the daughter have both signed off on it. And Disney said as much, like they've signed off on it. That's as good as Jim himself, in my opinion. If a member of the Henson family, and I've never gotten any wind that said that they're, horrible stewards of their father's legacy. No.
I've saw at DragonCon either last year or the year before. Brian Henson was there, and he did a couple of panels, and we went to the Labyrinth. We went to the Labyrinth one, and I think one of the other ones, and he seems.
So, I mean, this would not be the first time that an artist does something we love, and behind the scenes, they're a total dick. It's possible.
It sounds also like a different... maybe he's a dick, and maybe it's just a difference of opinion of...
Well, he definitely gave the Suits detailed notes about certain things. He was very critical of how things were handled for the Muppets TV show on ABC.
Yeah.
And ABC apparently didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Or, but let's face it, I mean, he's pretty OG when it comes. I mean, he's more OG than the kids. The kids were too young to be doing.
He was handpicked more or less by Jim Henson.
I mean, 78. What, you go back maybe 12, 15 more years, and that's the genesis of all Muppets.
Yeah.
You know, because that was what, Sam and Friends with Henson back in like the mid 60s, I want to say.
Actually, that stuff was like the late 50s.
No, was it that late?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, he like Sam and Friends was like 59 or something.
Oh,
it's
really?
it's like it's crazy older than you think it is.
Yeah, back
Like
when
the
it
old
literally
coffee commercials.
Yeah, it's
with
back
the-
when it was literally an actual sock with 2 buttons sewn on it.
Yeah.
I mean, we survived Henson to Whitmire, so
Yeah.
I mean,
We will.
but let's face it. How have you? What's your opinion of Disney's stewardship of Muppet Studios? Not that great.
No, when they took over Marvel, they made Marvel films the biggest thing in the world. When they took over Star Wars, it's it's the giant machine. The Muppets, like, they bought it and then kind of didn't do anything with
Right,
it.
it's like what?
And
TV
then they
show?
made the first Muppets movie with Jason Segel,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Yeah,
I thought
no,
it was good.
it was good.
I didn't think it was. It didn't. It wasn't.
But we're not 8 anymore.
Yes, I agree. You're absolutely right.
For us that was Phantom Menace, and we didn't like it as much. For kids that were that age,
But it didn't reinvigorate, and the Muppets weren't everywhere. It was like, oh, that was good, and it was cool. And like the Muppets have never really gone away. There's always Muppet projects been going on, but like I said, Marvel biggest movies going right now, and the Muppets just kind of happened. They bought it. And
well,
it's
I
like,
think
okay.
one of the things they were trying to do is to kind of edge up the Muppets with the ABC show.
Yeah.
And which something I was like, great, that'll be that. But maybe another project, a movie or something else, will be more kid oriented,
Right?
And everyone's like, "No, why are the Muppets talking about dating humans?" And it's weird. I'm like, they're just trying to keep it current.
Yeah.
I mean, if you did the old Muppet show, that whole vaudeville thing was probably 10 to 15 years dead in popular culture. Really, vaudeville itself was dead probably
50
half a century at that point. But there was enough people living that kind of remembered that kind of vaudevillian stuff from the 40s and 50s to where it was like,
It was almost new.
It was almost like the 90s are back now. Like
Yes.
the 90s. So like, oh, I remember that. Oh, they're doing that. Well, now they're doing
a talk show is what they were doing.
Yeah, and
they were trying to cross a late night talk show with
The Office.
With The Office, basically.
and I think it worked.
I loved it. I
Oh.
thought it was brilliant because they had done in the early '90s. They did Muppets Tonight, which I really liked as well.
I didn't get to see very much of that.
I liked it a lot. They did some. It was kind of just that. It was kind of a hybrid of the 90s and the old show because it was a TV show and it was behind the scenes but there wasn't Kermit. It was very interesting. It was I don't remember the character.
Maybe there was a rights issue at that point.
No, he showed up, but he wasn't the main focus. He wasn't running the show. But everybody else was there, Rizzo and Gonzo and Piggy and all that stuff. And they had really good guests. They only did a dozen episodes, maybe 15.
Not really dedicated.
And it never popped up anywhere. But there was some great stuff. Prince was on there. Like, Prince did an episode. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, Starfish and Coffee.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite tracks from my favorite Prince album.
Right. And Garth Brooks was on, and he was great because it was hilarious because they were completely making fun of the whole Chris Gaines thing. And, like, through the whole episode, he wouldn't admit that he was Garth Brooks. He was this guy, and he was this guy, and he was like...
Was that during the Chris Gaines period?
It was right after it, I think.
Oh.
So it was, it was stuff like that. It had celebrity guests, and it was... that format, and it worked. It just didn't go anywhere, and I think that was pre-buyout by Disney. So it was, I think, Henson Studios trying.
Well, now maybe it was just after because I remember when I was dating Regan, we went down to Disney World, and there was you know how that's right. You've never been to Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
You queue up, you go into an auditorium, and they had it like a version of the Muppet Theater.
Okay.
Because Statler and Waldorf were up in a balcony doing their thing, and stuff was presented on screen. So it was kind of, but they were showing episodes of Muppet Tonight to the crowd before you walked in. And this would have been 95?
Okay, yeah, that's about right.
When I was 12 years old.
Yeah, because that was like 92, 93 when the show was on.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
still in New York at that point.
So the show predated that. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
maybe they had just bought out Muppet Studios and were
Maybe.
trying to repurpose.
I don't know. But
Well, he kept quiet about it. He was fired 9 months ago and
I
only came out.
know.
So apparently he was like, okay, let's see if I can smooth it over. Apparently there's no smoothing it over. They're done.
no,
with
he's
it.
gone.
They're done
yeah.
with him.
And they've been doing stuff. And evidently, I think next week they said they're going to debut a short with Kermit, with the new Kermit.
Kermit the Frog here.
See,
I mean,
maybe you're next in line. Huh?
No.
Why are there so many
Songs about
rainbows?
Um,
But I love bacon.
There you go. Hey, easy.
Hey, easy. No, yeah, they're doing like the Muppet Minute or something like that, and it's like going to be a weekly. I don't know.
All right, well,
thing.
just keep the
We'll see.
franchise going.
Eventually, it was going to happen. I didn't realize Piggy and Fozzie and Animal have been a different voice for a while.
If it's done properly, it should always be
and
seamless.
the guy who's doing that is amazing, because I didn't even note, like, I watched the credits of the Muppet movie. I was like,
Who are these people?
yeah, I was like,
I never.
I thought that was Frank Oz. I really did. So
Yeah, Frank is like, I may come back once or twice for something very special, like if Yoda shows up in a film.
he did it. He showed up. He did Yoda on one of the cartoons. I think it was both the end of the Clone Wars. He did Yoda, and in Rebels as well. So he's in the Disney thing, and it's like, yeah, I'll come in. I'll do the voice.
I'm retired. Sweet Disney money? I'm out of retirement.
Yeah.
Come on. You know.
When the mouse leans on you. Yeah. They got James Earl Jones too.
It'd be a shame if your house burned down.
We own everything.
Speaking of the mouse,
Yeah.
have you seen the 50-foot model that they built of the new Star Wars land?
I've seen bits. Yes.
I don't know where they're gonna put it. I know Anaheim Disneyland like the back of my. Don't ask me to describe it. I'm guessing they scooped up more parking lot and just built more parking structures.
I don't know.
Because up until maybe 20 years ago, all parking at Disneyland was flat on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did California Adventures, which the parking lot would run right up until the front gates almost. And now they've got California Adventures, so they put a parking structure in. I mean, Disneyland is rich as hell, or Disney is rich as hell, but I tell you, real estate in that area is very expensive.
Yeah, but
It's like, oh, look, the grosses came in for the next Marvel film. 1 day's worth. Great, we'll buy all the land we need.
yeah,
now.
we've got 4 movies coming out this year. They're all going to make $1 billion. So
And
what do we care?
apparently, Disneyland is going to get its second hotel.
Okay.
Now, the first Disneyland hotel is the original, the OG one from the 50s.
Okay.
The only place, up until recently, I think, where you could drink on a Disney property.
Okay.
And we did. You get on the monorail, and the monorail goes all around the park and bows outward and takes you to the Disneyland hotel. Because theoretically, you wake up, you have your breakfast, and you get on the monorail and you go to the park. And that's. But you can also drive in, park, have some fun at Disneyland, get on the monorail, and go have lunch and drinks at the Disneyland Hotel.
Okay.
Get well sauced, and then go to Fantasyland and get on the teacups and make your sister hurl. Love you, Brenda. Yeah. So now, in the plans for the new Star Wars land,
Yeah.
there's going to be an immersive experience hotel where you just don't check in as a guest. You're given a character and backstory.
And a storyline.
Yeah. Now, I'm down with that, provided like when you walk into your room, there's not a Sith there attacking you as soon as you know.
I don't think it's that, but from what I read, like you're in space. Like there's no outside. Like the windows are all screens.
They've basically made it in what you think is a window is a projection to outer space. So you're like you may be looking out a window, but the window is showing a projection of the planet's surface. And I'm like, I'm planning a trip to California in the next 2 years. Now, of course, reservations as soon as they're opened up will probably be booked for 5 years solid. And that's fine. I'll do Star Wars Land. And
I believe it's called Galaxy's Edge, is what I read. I don't know. I think.
Hope they have a good restaurant. And it's immersive. There's because remember that ride at Disneyland? I'm sorry.
Nope,
never.
Grew up in New York City.
You would definitely like Disneyland when they opened up the Indiana Jones ride there. There's as you're going through the line, which is quite a line there. There's hieroglyphics you can decipher. There's things to do as part of the adventure before you get on the ride itself.
Okay.
And apparently they're taking that to the nth degree. Like when you step into Star Wars Land, you are in Star Wars freaking land.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And I'm looking forward to bifurcating some Sith.
If you can do that, I don't know how that's going to work.
I very severely doubt that you're going to have people running around with quote unquote lightsabers or glowy sticks and hitting things. That probably would not be smart, but I'm sure there'll be some stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you had a blaster that doesn't actually blast, but it's like a laser, it's like a laser tag gun where you could shoot something and like bing, you know.
Yep. I think it's going to be that. I mean, it sounds like it's full on, LARPing. You have a storyline there.
I have so many friends that are Disneyland addicts and Star Wars addicts.
Yeah.
They'll go in there and like the last time it took them a week to come back down from being in Star Wars land.
I'm curious as to the price point of that whole thing, like what that hotel immersive experience is going to be.
Well, the hotel is going to be redunculous.
Yeah, but I mean,
there's
I think
a reason
that's got to be like a whole package deal, right?
Well, it can be. It's not like you can't go to Star Wars Land unless you're staying at the hotel.
I don't know.
No. They're not going to do that.
Right, but I mean, I think to get that whole like storyline.
Oh, to get the storyline experience, perhaps yes.
Yeah,
that's
I think
entirely
that's the hotel, and you're there, and
right. That's entirely possible. But as far as it being just another land, you walk through and do this ride, and maybe you get a little laser gun that can collect points, or who knows.
Yeah,
there's so many ideas. We'll teach you Arabesh.
Right. Is it 2019 or 2020 that it's gonna?
I heard next year. They're already building it now.
That's true. They broke ground last year, I think.
So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I watched some of that D23 because that was the last the Disney convention was last weekend.
Right.
Comic-Con this weekend. Crazy.
Hey, my friend Anthony did some work for the upcoming Tick show.
Oh, did he on Amazon?
Yeah, you got a last minute gig working on something for them to promote the ticket.
Cool!
At Comic-Con, I was like,
I watched the pilot of that and I enjoyed it. It's a little weird not being Patrick Warburton.
I know.
But Peter Serafinowicz is really good. You got to and I like the way they handle it. And it's Ben Edlund. I always want to say Ben Elton. No, Ben Edlund, who wrote the comic book. You know, it's his thing. So
well, at least they didn't make the Tick a female.
Right? Why? Because that would ruin everything.
Gosh, you're taking all our stuff. All our man toys are going away.
So it was a beautiful scene because it was Sunday morning, and the announcement for the new Doctor Who has been touted, and so I get to work, and I'm like, they said after Wimbledon. I don't know when that's going to be, so I'm checking and
yeah, it's like Doctor Who fans, Wimbledon fans. I'm not saying
5-hour time difference.
Exactly, and a time difference. I'm not saying there's no crossover. I'm just saying there's probably not a lot of crossover,
right?
Perhaps.
And so we were my one of the guys I work with is also a big nerd and
A Whovian.
A Whovian.
The term is Whovian.
He's an all-around nerd, just like me.
Whovian.
But he's so I'm just we're trying to figure it out, and right at the end of one of our shows at the aquarium, I'm scrolling through Twitter, and there at the beginning of the show there was a post that said coming soon, or stay tuned very soon, something to that effect.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to tune for anything.
Well, it's just watch this space. Yeah. And then I checked again at the end of the show, and it said there was a little video, and it said, please welcome the 13th Doctor. And I just stopped, and I radioed down. I was like, Cody, get up here. It's been announced. He was like, I can't yet, And we waited, and we got he got up there, and we got settled, and we hit it, and we watched it. And it's watching, it's like, okay, looks kind of a slight frame, kind of a, can't tell, they're not showing the face, and the hand comes out, okay, that's a very slim hand, and the TARDIS key appears, and then we saw kind of a profile, I was like, that looks like a woman, and then when she pulled the hood back, it's like, it's a woman! I don't know who that is, but it's a woman.
Apparently, Jodie Whittaker.
Who's
on Broadchurch, or was on Broadchurch.
Who was on Broadchurch, and which makes sense because Chris Chibnall, the new showrunner for Doctor Who, created Broadchurch.
Right.
And which is why I thought it was going to be Olivia Colman, who was also on Broadchurch.
Oh.
And she was on a million other things, and she would have been fantastic. But everyone is very, very pleased that it's going to Jodie Whittaker.
Are they?
Well, all the people who actually matter,
who are actual Whovians and aren't men's rights assholes.
I'm never gonna watch.
And
it
you know
again.
what? Good. Go the fuck away. Let this be the end of Doctor Who for you. We're going to continue to enjoy the show.
I got many, 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 many retweets on some jackass posted something, and I said, it's been 54 years. It's time.
Yeah.
Or, you've had a man for 54 years. It's time.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of retweets and a lot of love from. It's just amazing that men are just that stupid. That this is going to ruin the show.
No.
Somebody put up a list of every time Doctor Who got ruined, and it starting from Susan is his granddaughter. His show is ruined. To today.
Ruined. Yeah, I know. I'm thrilled. Unfortunately, what was it? Yesterday, the trolls are already out, and apparently nude photographs have been published of Jodie Whittaker.
Well, here's the thing: they were from projects. They were from television
exactly.
projects and movies that she did.
Are you trying to embarrass her because
she already did?
She signed on for that, and so
putting them out in print is just shitty.
Oh dear,
literally just shitty.
Well, now her career is ruined. She's going to have to join the ranks of people like Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
What a hack. My God, she showed her breasts in, 3,000 films.
Yeah.
She gets her kid out at a moment's notice. She has no problem with that.
And that's kind of standard
I'm sorry. Academy Award-winning hack Helen Mirren.
Yes.
So, sorry, your little shame game. You're like, yep, she's got boobs. Big freaking deal.
Yeah.
I don't want a bra.
TARDIS full of bras.
Okay, I don't necessarily either, but I didn't want a TARDIS full of jock straps, and I never got that either.
Yeah.
Or I mean, why do we have to
just from a logic standpoint, think about it this way: we had a middle-aged Eccleston. We went younger with Tennant. We went even younger with Matt Smith. We went really old with Capaldi.
Easy now.
Well, we went older with Capaldi. Pardon me, sir. I didn't meant no.
I mean, he's
disrespect.
he's not in the dust yet.
No. There weren't a lot of options left to keep it fresh. It was either a woman.
We could have had a ginger.
Even a ginger.
Ed Sheeran as the Doctor. No, that would have ruined.
That would have ruined the show.
I mean, he popped up on
Game of Thrones, and everybody lost their fucking minds.
Singing.
Really?
I'm like, Game of Thrones is not where you do your stunt casting. You could put in absolute nobodies from now until the end, and pretty much you have for the most part. I mean, people that weren't that famous before.
Yeah.
It's the story and the effects in the world that sells Game of Thrones. Don't do stunt casting.
Yeah, that pulled. They said a lot of people got mad, and that it pulled them out of the.
It's like
episode.
what the you know. I'm not going to spoil things, but it would have been nice if some violence had happened. Just, you know, but I'm not in the camp of I don't like him because of his music. He writes a couple of catchy pop tunes.
No, he's fine. It's just
whatever.
the wrong venue for
Exactly.
him.
Well, I look at him kind of like Britney Spears. Okay, you got a couple of great pop tunes. You're not going to change the world with your music, but you may entertain a few people. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
it. You know.
it just for Game of Thrones, it was a bizarre,
No, it was just not
wrong
not,
misstep.
you know, yeah.
You know, I'm all for stunt casting. Like I said,
Now,
all the
now the best stunt casting in Game of Thrones was Diana Rigg. Riggs?
Rigg.
The original, well, not the original Miss, but the best known Mrs. Peel.
Yeah, Emma Peel. Yeah,
You know, from the Avengers, the original Avengers.
yes, the Denham
Yeah.
Elliott. Patrick McNee. I'm sorry.
It passed away recently.
Yeah.
I really like that show. That was one of the first things I rented on Netflix. As soon as Netflix came into being, they had, or at least for me, and they had all the Avengers. I went, you know what? I'm going to watch the whole damn series, and I did.
Yep.
And it was good. But that's my idea of stunt casting.
Yeah, for Game of Thrones, you do that. You
Yeah.
don't do some some pop star.
Hey, you know, it's
And like I said, I'm all for stunt casting. They set a precedent that almost all of the CW shows, like the Flash and Arrow and all that, it's all stunt casting.
right. But I mean, that's them.
on purpose. Yeah, and it works great. You know, like I said, Dean Cain and Helen Slater are Supergirl's mother and father, and that's amazing.
But this is Tizzle, man.
Exactly. It doesn't work the other way.
Yeah, you got. But anyway, Jodie Whittaker, welcome. 13th Doctor, loving it.
Yeah, 13th, depending on
Well,
how you're counting.
The War Doctor,
Right.
you know, John Hurt.
And some people are always saying, well, he 10 regenerated into himself, so that there's another. But I know.
You know, I'm just going to go with what they say. I mean, I'm a nerd, but I'm not like an angry nerd where it's like, you did that wrong. Well, but then.
I'm all for.
But then Jar Jar Binks shows up like, all right, now I'm an
Yeah,
angry
you did that
nerd.
wrong.
You
I'm
did
all for a spirited debate. So you saw the finale of the season.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
We have not done our roundtable, and we'll probably try to do something for the premiere of Jodie, I think, or
Or Christmas special. Yeah.
oh yes, the Christmas
Christmas
special.
which is when she will show up. See, now I had a crazy thought when I was watching the finale.
Yeah.
Because spoiler if you haven't seen it, at the end of the episode, Capaldi is fighting off his regeneration, and he meets the first Doctor. He meets the Doctor. He meets David Bradley playing William Hartnell.
Right. Yeah. William Hartnell not with us anymore.
Right. Very long gone.
He barely made it to be done out of Doctor Who.
Exactly.
You know.
My weird thought was maybe he's the new Doctor. Maybe it's just a whole series of Hartnell, like starting right over. That would have been insane if. They
at that point, before the announcement. you
Yes,
thought,
before the announcement. Yeah, I was like, maybe he's the new Doctor.
Oh, maybe time has come back on
or
itself.
we're
and
just gonna
looped.
we're just gonna follow him and see adventures we hadn't seen before and start the fuck over.
I really want in the next series for D13, which is my new nickname I just thought of for the new Doctor, D13.
Okay.
to have a joke with a stalk of celery somewhere, just somehow somewhere.
Yeah.
I want that. I just want that.
I'm really looking forward to see what they do because it's not only is it a new Doctor, it's like it's a new showrunner as well. So
New Doctor, new showrunner,
new rules, man.
and new dynamic. Because are we going to have a female companion, a male companion? Is
Bill coming back?
Is D13 going to be? I think Bill's gone. I really do.
I think so too.
I mean, they left it open. They always leave it
Yeah,
open.
he generally-
No one is ever definitively dead.
Right.
They're in another dimension, and they burn a star to talk, and blah, blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah, yeah.
As long as Rose is gone permanently, I'll be fine.
She'll never be gone permanently, but you know, she's
I got
away
nothing
for a while.
against her, but she keps showing up. I'm like, how can we
It's
miss
been
you
a
if
while.
you don't go away?
She hasn't been around since the 50th. It's okay.
All right.
But yes, I want to see what kind of companion dynamic we have. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it, you know, I'm all for a woman.
But keep in mind, it's still the doctor within the doctor's head.
Yeah.
Now in a woman's body. Now, are they going to start addressing a up to this point male sensibility, because that life energy that is the doctor has been put in male bodies over and over and over again, and all of a sudden, boom! Now it's female.
Yeah.
So are we going to have a dissonance between what's in his head and like, whoa, I'm a girl now?
Well, here's the thing. He's not a human, so what does gender actually mean to the Gallifreyans? You know, if you think about it,
that's true.
You know, is there much of a difference between a female and a male Gallifreyan? We don't know. You know, they didn't see like in Heaven Sent when the doctor asks that the councilman, you know, how many what regeneration is. He's like 7, and he shoots him, and he regenerates into the African American woman or African British woman, the black lady.
Yes.
It's I don't know what's the
African American British person.
That's
they
not right.
don't say that because they're
that's not right.
They don't say African British lady.
And when she regenerated, she was like, oh, it's good to be back in this, and it didn't seem to bother anybody else.
Right.
So,
And keep in mind, the master, both male and female.
yeah,
has
totally,
been.
totally. Been the precedent has been set.
So it's we'll see.
And by all words, she was very well respected in Broadchurch. Like everyone's like, oh my God, she was great in Broadchurch.
The only bad thing I've heard from people, and every one of them are idiots, is that she's female.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
Boo fucking who for you? Is she a good actress? Yes. Yeah. No one has said, oh gosh, I don't think she can do it. Everyone says she can totally do it.
And evidently, she was in that movie Attack the Block, which was with John Boyega.
Yep.
So there was a great meme going around as where the Doctor and Finn, team up to defeat something or other.
Oh yeah, the New Order or
something like that.
Fifth Order. What's the
first
villain?
First Order.
First Order.
Yeah. That was the other thing that dropped. Not to get away from Doctor Who, was they didn't. At D23, they did not put out a new Star Wars Last Jedi trailer, but they put out the behind-the-scenes reel like they did at Comic-Con before.
But we have seen a picture. Have you seen this? Ron Howard showed a picture of Ron Howard on the set of the Han Solo film, and in the monitor you saw Monsignor Glover as young Lando.
Yes.
And I usually shy away from that stuff. Like, could this be a new Star Wars thing revealed? I don't care if it is or not. I don't want to read it. I don't want to.
No, but they showed like a behind the scenes of Last Jedi and like a sizzle reel of making that, and like the puppets and like some finished scenes and some everybody in interesting outfits, and it's like this looks like a different movie, man. It looks really.
Well, they say this is going to be far grittier, far more violent, far more dark, and far more empire-y.
Well, it has to be. It's the middle. It's got to be the good
You got
guys.
to you got to up the stakes.
Yeah, totally.
If it's the same as the first one, you're like, the first one was basically the same as the fourth one.
Right.
Let's be honest.
And it kind of had to be, or else it wouldn't have worked. But now we have license to go someplace.
Well,
with
that
it.
was the first thing back from the prequels, so you had to reestablish faith.
Right.
And the nerds went, all right.
Okay.
We've seen most of this before, but we're good. Now, don't Jar Jar it up.
The coolest thing in the Ron Howard pictures is there's a shot.
Voiceover?
No. There's money in the banana stand.
We do know that Donald Trump Jr. is Joe Bluth. We know that, right?
Yes. We do.
That's firmly established.
Yes, we know that.
Okay.
Yes.
Karen, continue on.
There's a shot of the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
and it's in front of a giant projection screen, and that's how they did the light speed, the hyperspace jump. Like, instead of just them in a green screen and like doing it in post, it's in front of them on a giant screen.
Good.
And it's like, that's cool.
Practicals.
Yeah, it's a hallmark of that franchise. You know, that's how it all started.
That is something that Lucas forgot. He thought, ooh, technology got better, so I will go with it. Like,
right.
To some degree, yes.
That worked for Jurassic Park, but not for Star Wars.
Yeah. It's
Steven could get away with that. You can't.
no. Well, no, he wasn't. He was. Spielberg was off that. At least as director, he was executive producing. I think he did all the rest of them executive producing, but he only directed that first one.
First what?
The Jurassic Park.
Right, but I mean the first one.
Yeah.
You know, that's the technology was what made that movie happen.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And, you know, Steven could use all that, and Lucas tried it with digital sets and digital actors, and it was like, wow, this is.
You
awful.
see the behind-the-scenes footage, and it basically is people in costumes with white balls everywhere and a massive green room.
That's
and you're
it.
like,
and it looks like they're in a video game.
yeah.
You
And
know?
how can you get any kind of a decent performance out of somebody when they're not looking at anything?
Yeah.
Anything at all. I mean,
Anything
I
at all.
understand if you're,
Yeah,
if
there's
you're
reference points, but it's a ball on a stick.
Yeah,
or a
so-
piece of tape on the wall. So.
All right, I'm trying to keep my prequel bitching down to 30 to 40 minutes per episode, so I think I've reached my limit right now.
Yep.
So,
One thing that I'm a little, my trepidation keeps growing. Dark Tower. Okay, they released the running time of it.
oh God, please tell me it does not eclipse 3 hours.
95 minutes.
What?
Yes. It's very short. That does not bode well to me. The first book is like 120 pages, but that ain't a feature film. And it doesn't look like there's anything from the book in it.
Okay, now it depends on how Disney has decided to do this. If they're
I don't think
committed,
it's Disney.
it's not a Disney thing.
I don't believe so. I mean it's Castle Rock, but I don't think it's Disney putting out Dark Tower. No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Whoever.
however, Castle Rock,
Yeah.
if you take the entirety of the series and storyboard it out and find your places where you could end on maybe the first film needs to be 90-ish minutes, but the second one will be like 130 because that's a long-ass series.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they're trying, my guess is, the runtime, they're trying to get you into this world, get it established with drama, not trying to tell everything.
leave you wanting more kind of thing.
Leave you wanting more. You know what? Right here's the perfect place to stop. It's only going to give us 90 minutes of film. Let it be 90 minutes of film. I'm okay. I'm okay. We'll see. It just depends on their commitment to the rest of the series. I mean, you remember what happened with like The Golden Compass. It didn't do very well,
Yeah.
and they didn't continue the series.
The American version of the girl with the dragon tattoo.
They are actually doing the second one.
No, they're doing the fourth one that he didn't write.
No. They're doing the second film.
Yes, but it's
they're-
not. But it's the fourth book.
Yeah.
It's So
And it's not going to be with the same cast.
right. So none of it makes any sense.
Okay, but as long as it's being shepherded by, for lack of a better term, by Ron Howard. I mean, director doesn't necessarily shepherd the story itself. He tells the story.
Yeah.
It depends on how it was chopped up. It depends on what they're leaving in, what they're taking out, and what they're adding in
Yeah.
for the screen, because sometimes that's necessary. What they're changing. They're not telling the whole, 7-book series?
Yeah.
In one film.
No,
it's impossible.
I mean, it's
It's possible. It would be a horrible train wreck of a
No,
film.
it's possible. It's not possible in a 2-hour film or even a 3-hour film. Like even Lord of the Rings was 3.
Yeah, when you said that,
4
I
hours.
thought for sure it's like, oh god, the running time's going to top out at 3 hours, 90 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Maybe that was part of the bargain. Just said, all right, because remember, Dark Tower's been in development hell for what, a decade?
Oh, at least.
And maybe they finally said, you know what? We're not gonna. We're gonna go a little easy on this first one.
I'm down as long as
as long as they're not stupid with it.
because the goal for me is get to the third movie because the second book is establishing characters, because the first book is Roland and Jake the kid,
Right.
and chasing the man in black across the desert. That's the book. Jake comes in from our world, and Roland finds him, and that's what happens. The second book is where it really starts taking off, and other characters are introduced, and the concepts of other worlds, and it's a big, long thing of character development of the rest of the team or whatever.
Right.
The third book is a straight action movie, and one of the best books I've ever read. It's so amazing. I just hope they can get to it. I hope they can get through that second one to get to the third one.
I'm not feeling a lot of buzz for the Gunslinger.
No.
The buzz is not out there. I'm not seeing a lot of people talking about it.
I don't know because the trailers have been kind of lackluster. They're okay, but
It's like, it's sci-fi, but he's using bullets?
yeah, he's a cowboy. I don't understand.
Just...
So, and I don't know.
And it may be a tough sell. Maybe that's why I was in development hell for so long, because the suits went, Stephen King's well known, but this is a tough concept to get across to people and get them interested in. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I never would have thought Avatar would have been as popular as it was. I mean, it was an interesting film. It wasn't the end-all, be-all of cinema history, but it is because, well, as far as box office goes.
Well, yeah.
So whoop-de-freaking-do.
I don't know.
But one of the characters that I really hope that they keep in, you remember the big squid in book 5?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. There was no script.
No. Some of the casting opportunities coming up for the second and third film could be interesting, and we could swap some genders there too. You know,
Yeah.
Maybe we could cast Jodie Whittaker.
Well, they already cast, an African American, Idris Elba, as the gunslinger.
Oh no, you can't have a gunslinger be black. Why?
Yeah.
Can black people pick up a gun and sling like the Old West?
But he's not in the book. He's not anything in the book. He's a book. He's a character in the book.
Well, I've told people what I really want to see is a female Muslim 007.
Right.
Jane Bond, or Jane L. Bond, or whatever. You know, just to have all the men's people go, crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You can't have a female. And
Well, they went nuts when they suggested Idris Elba as Bond, too. I think
he'd be amazing.
He'd be amazing.
Oh, my God. I still want Helen Mirren as a doctor.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we got John Hurt as the war doctor to pop in. He wasn't, he didn't pick up the mantle forever, rest his soul now.
Yeah.
Hey, Helen Mirren could pop up. Maybe Helen Mirren could pop up as aged 13th Doctor. Who knows? Who knows? But the person I want to be the companion for, we're talking about whether it should be male or female, but we haven't addressed a glaring issue. Okay? The person that I want to see as the 13th Doctor, their new companion, Jodie's new companion, D13's new companion, I would like to see...
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you in 2 weeks.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, DeepThought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard and Fine. 5 months to D13, 5 months to Last Jedi. Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast is sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube, listen on SoundCloud, stream us on Stitcher, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or email us comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
Hello, Z!
Audio Primate.